Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The glow of the city faded beneath the gray veil of dawn as Kelly Ripa sat in a cold hospital chair, her hands clasped tightly together, trembling slightly. She hadn't slept in nearly a full day. Her husband, Mark Consuelos, lay just a few feet away, surrounded by the rhythmic beeping of machines and the faint hum of fluorescent lights. To anyone else, the sterile room might have felt lifeless. But to Kelly, it was the entire world, because inside it was the man she loved, the one who had been her rock for nearly 3 decades, now fighting an illness that came out of nowhere. The past 24 hours had been a blur, a terrifying emotional whirlwind that tested every ounce of strength she had. It started with something small, something that didn't seem alarming at first. Mark had been feeling off during the morning taping of Live with Kelly and Mark. He brushed it off as exhaustion, smiling through the show as always, his trademark charm hiding the fatigue behind his eyes. But Kelly noticed, she always did. After the camera stopped rolling, Mark's smile faded, and the color drained from his face. "I just need to lie down," he'd said, his voice strained. By the time they got home, he could barely stand. Within hours, he was rushed to the hospital. The diagnosis wasn't immediate. Tests, scans, and hurried doctors filled the next several hours, each minute stretching like an eternity. Now, sitting by his bedside, Kelly replayed it all, feeling the weight of helplessness pressing down on her chest. She had always been the optimist, the one who brought laughter, light, and resilience into every room she entered. But in this quiet, sterile chamber, her laughter had no place. Here, she was just a wife, scared, praying, waiting. She kept her eyes fixed on Mark, his chest rising and falling slowly. The doctors had reassured her that his condition was stable but serious. Stable, that word had become both her anchor and her torment. It meant he wasn't slipping away, but it also meant he wasn't out of danger. "Hey," she whispered, reaching for his hand, "you promised me we'd grow old together, no skipping out early, okay?" Her voice cracked, and she quickly brushed away a tear before it could fall onto his skin. Their love story had always been the stuff of dreams, from their whirlwind meeting on the set of All My Children to the life they built together, raising 3 children and sharing the morning stage as co-hosts. Through career highs, family milestones, and personal challenges, they had been a team, always side by side. And now, as the hours ticked by, Kelly refused to be anywhere else. Friends and colleagues had called, Ryan Seacrest, Andy Cohen, even close family from across the country, offering prayers, comfort, and words of hope. But Kelly barely touched her phone. The world outside the hospital walls didn't matter. There was only this room, this moment, this heartbeat. As night fell again, the soft rain outside tapped against the window, a rhythmic reminder of time's passage. Kelly wrapped a blanket around her shoulders, exhaustion tugging at her eyelids. A nurse gently suggested she rest, but Kelly shook her head. "I can't," she said quietly. "He wouldn't leave me if it were the other way around." And that was true. Mark had always been her protector, the calm in her chaos, the steady voice in her storm. She remembered the countless times he'd stayed up with her during stressful weeks of production, bringing her tea, cracking jokes until she smiled again. Now it was her turn to be his strength. Hours passed. The monitors continued their steady hum, each beep a lifeline. Kelly's mind wandered through memories, their first date, their surprise elopement in Las Vegas, the laughter of their children echoing through the years. Every image felt sharper now, every moment more fragile, like glass she was desperate not to drop. At 3:17 a.m., a small sound broke her reverie, a groan, faint but real. Her head snapped up. Mark's eyelids fluttered, his fingers twitching beneath hers. Kelly's heart leaked. "Mark, hey honey, I'm here." His voice was barely a whisper, still, bossing everyone around. She laughed through her tears. "Someone has to keep you in line." For the first time in hours, relief washed over her like a wave. He was awake, weak but fighting, her Mark, still stubborn, still himself. The nurse hurried in, checking his vitals, smiling softly at Kelly. "He's improving," she said. "It's a good sign." Kelly exhaled a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. For the first time in nearly a full day, she allowed herself to hope. She leaned forward, pressing her forehead against his. "Don't scare me like that again," she whispered. Mark managed a faint smile. "You'd miss the drama." She laughed softly, the sound trembling with love and relief. "You're right, but I'd rather have boring forever with you than excitement without you." Morning came slowly, the first golden rays spilling into the hospital room. Kelly hadn't moved from her spot beside him. She held his hand as the world outside began to wake, the city resuming its rhythm, the sun cutting through the rain clouds. The long night was finally over. Doctors came in with cautious optimism. Mark's condition was improving, his body was responding to treatment. Kelly listened intently, her heart swelling with gratitude. She thanked every nurse, every technician, every person who had helped carry them through the longest day of their lives. When Mark was strong enough to speak again, he turned to her, his eyes soft. "You didn't have to stay the whole time." Kelly smiled through tired eyes. "Yes, I did. You're my home, Mark. I couldn't go anywhere else." He squeezed her hand weakly, but with unmistakable warmth. "Then I guess I'll have to get better. Can't have you missing work for me." She laughed, a sound that for the first time in 24 hours carried no fear, only love. "You're not getting rid of me that easily," she teased. As the hospital bustled to life around them, Kelly looked out the window, feeling a deep sense of clarity. The fame, the career, the cameras, all of it seemed so small compared to the man lying before her. The last 24 hours had stripped everything down to its purest form: love, endurance, and faith. Later, when she finally left the hospital to grab a quick coffee, the world seemed different. Every sound, every color, every breath felt heavier with meaning. She knew there would be challenges ahead, that Mark's recovery might take time, but she also knew that they would face it together. For Kelly Ripa, the desperate 24-hour vigil had been more than just a test of patience or fear. It had been a reminder of the depth of her love, of the strength that blooms in moments of despair, and of the unshakable bond that no illness could ever break. And as she walked back into that hospital room, coffee in hand and hope in her heart, she whispered softly to herself, "We've got this." Kelly pushed open the hospital room door, the faint aroma of coffee mixing with the sterile air. The sunlight was spilling more freely now through the half-drawn blinds, painting the white walls in soft gold. Mark was sitting up slightly, pale but smiling faintly, a smile that, to her, felt like the most beautiful thing in the world. "You look like someone who's seen a ghost," he teased, his voice still raspy but laced with warmth. Kelly chuckled softly, relief washing over her again. "You nearly became one, mister. Don't think I'm ever letting you forget it." She set the coffee on the side table, leaned in, and kissed his forehead gently. It was still warm, but not with the feverish heat that had terrified her through the night. The color was beginning to return to his face, faintly, but enough. The doctor entered moments later, chart in hand, with a smile that felt like sunlight breaking through a storm. "Mr. Consuelos, your vitals are holding steady. You're recovering well. If this continues, you'll be home soon." Kelly exhaled, her hands trembling as she clasped them together in gratitude. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Thank you for bringing him back to me." The doctor gave her a reassuring nod. "He's a fighter. You both are." After the doctor left, Kelly sat down beside Mark again. For the first time in nearly a full day, her body began to relax. Her exhaustion caught up with her, and she let her head rest gently on his shoulder. "You should sleep," Mark murmured. "You've been awake for, what, 2 days?" "Almost," she admitted with a small laugh. "But I didn't want to miss you waking up." He turned his head, pressing his lips to her hair. "You're impossible." "Good," she said softly. "That's why you married me." Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates.